There is a moment in life that almost nobody talks about. A moment when you already changed, when you are no longer the person you used to be, when you have already fought your old habits, your old identity, your old desires. You have spent months, maybe years, building yourself. You have learned discipline. You have learned patience. You have learned how to control your body, your mind, and your emotions. You got closer to God. And you started listening to that inner voice. You started walking the path you believe you were meant to walk. And then, suddenly, everything gets harder. Almost like a life turns against you. The things you thought you overcame suddenly return. The weaknesses you thought were gone suddenly appear again. All the temptations become stronger. The doubts become louder. The pain becomes heavier. And you start asking yourself, why is this happening now? I thought I was doing everything right. I thought I was finally moving in the right direction. But what if this is not a sign that you are falling? What if this is the final test before the next chapter? Because one thing I have learned is this. You're not tested when you're comfortable. You are tested when it actually matters. And the closer you get to becoming who you are supposed to become, the stronger the resistance becomes. Because your old self does not want to disappear. Your old habits don't want to die. Your distractions don't want to lose control over you. And this is where the toughest battle begins. Not at the beginning of your journey. Not when you are weak or lost, but when you have already walked far enough to prove that you are serious. Throughout this journey, there were many moments when everything felt like it was falling apart. Moments when I questioned everything. When I looked at my situation and thought, this doesn't make sense. Because deep down, I knew something. I knew I could not have come this far for no reason. I knew I could not have spent all this time getting closer to God, changing myself, fighting my old nature, following my inner voice, seeing the signs, feeling the guidance, just for everything to collapse here. It doesn't make sense. That's what I used to tell myself in times of hardship. God would not take you so far just to abandon you at the hardest moment. God would not build something inside you just to destroy it without purpose. And that thought helped me survive many difficult seasons. Because sometimes when you're in the middle of the storm, you cannot see the entire picture. You only see the pain, you only see the problem, the obstacles in front of you. And the second thought that always came back to me was this. This is a test. It must be. Because every test that God gives you, He knows you can handle. Even when you cannot see how, even when your mind tells you that it is impossible, when everything inside you wants to give up, remember, God does not send you a test just to watch you collapse. This doesn't make sense, does it? The test exists in nature because there is something inside you that is capable of overcoming it. The fact that you are facing it means you have the ability to deal with it. And this is something many people misunderstand. They think when they finally align themselves, everything should become easy. They think, okay, I found my purpose. I found God. I changed. Now everything should work out. But that's not how life works. Alignment does not remove the battle. Alignment gives you the strength to fight it. Because life itself is a process of becoming. And every level requires a new version of you. The person who got you here cannot always take you where you're going. That is why the final battles are so intense. Because you're not fighting for your old life anymore. You're fighting for your future self. And the most interesting thing about this battle is that it always attacks your weakest points. Think about it. If your weakness is lust, that is where you'll be tested. If your weakness is money, that is where you will be tested. If your weakness is validation, attention, ego, comfort, that is where the pressure will come from. The test is personal. Because the purpose is not just to hurt you. The purpose is to reveal what still controls you. What still has power over you. What still separates you from complete alignment. Because you can say you changed. You can say you are disciplined and committed. But the test reveals the truth. Imagine you are a parent. You spend years teaching your children. You teach them discipline. You teach them responsibility. You teach them how to handle difficult situations. And then one day, you give them a test. Not because you hate them or you want them to fail, but because you want to see if they are ready. You want to see if the lessons became part of who they are. And when they pass, you reward them. Right? That is how I see these seasons. The battle before breakthrough is not punishment. It is preparation. But here's the hardest part. Sometimes you do everything right and still nothing happens. You prayed, you work, stay disciplined, and follow the path. But the breakthrough still does not come. And this is where most people quit. Because they think, all right, maybe I was wrong. Maybe this was never meant for me. Maybe I should just go back. But this is exactly where you cannot give up. Because the hardest part of the race is usually right before the finish line. The darkest moment is usually right before the sunrise. You have to understand something. The breakthrough is not just about receiving what you wanted. It is about becoming the person who can handle it. Because imagine receiving everything while still being the old version of yourself. The same weak habits, the same lack of discipline, same distractions, uncontrolled desires. You would destroy everything that you prayed for. Makes sense, doesn't it? That is why the process matters. That is why the battle matters. And maybe the biggest test is not whether you continue when you see the reward. Maybe the biggest test is whether you continue when you don't. Can you still trust God when nothing makes sense? Can you still walk the path when there is no evidence? Can you still commit when you don't get what you expected? Because real faith is not built when everything works. Real faith is built when everything falls apart and you still choose the same direction. The enemy wants you to believe that the pain means you're lost, that the struggle means you chose the wrong path. But sometimes the struggle is proof that you're exactly where you need to be. Because nobody fights against something that has no value. Nobody tries to stop something that does not matter. The closer you get to your potential, the harder the resistance becomes. So when the battle comes, when everything feels heavier, when your old desires come back, when doubts start screaming in your head, remember, it does not make sense that God brought you this far just to abandon you here. This is not the end. This is a test. And every test has a purpose. So stay committed, stay disciplined, and stay aligned. Because the breakthrough is not created by surviving the easy days. It is created by surviving the days when you had every reason to quit, and you still chose to continue. That is when you become someone new. That is when the next chapter begins.